The Florida Gators gave an absolute, you know what, whooping to the Alabama Crimson Tide. We're going to talk about that on a bonus episode of Locked On Gators.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, sometimes like today, twice in a day. And oh my goodness, what a whooping. Like Florida, okay, you went into half with a 9-point lead. And I will be completely honest, I think the huge majority of us were just like, well, that's not enough for me to feel comfortable, because why would it? We've seen that song and dance many times before. And then 61 points in the second half. Spent a lot of that time in the bonus, the double bonus, and hit their free throws. Like, there's a few things that I need to point out and commend here for the Florida Gators. First off, Todd Golden. I do believe that you deserve a ton of credit for this. And chat, we'll get to you. We'll get to you in a few minutes. I don't even remember if I introduced myself at this point. I'm Brandon Olsen. I'm on Twitter, WNS_Brandon. But man, Todd Golden, you deserve your flowers here, because man, you got this team to show up. And not to be a jerk, but we've seen the football team have times where they don't show up like that. We've seen the basketball team at times not show up like that. But this was a massive game for the Florida Gators. You just got knocked out of the top 25. You're playing against a team that beat you on their home court in overtime, and you came out there on your home court and beat the you-know-what out of them, and just completely dominated. This was one of the most dominant performances that we've seen under Todd Golden, and if you account for who you played against, this might be the most dominant performance that you saw from the Florida Gators under Todd Golden. So Todd Golden deserves his flowers. We do know that Alabama's a team that doesn't run the zone often, so at least there was not that threat, because that's one of those things where I'm going to be critical about it until you prove me wrong. And so you got a little bit, I don't want to say lucky there, but it was a good draw that you didn't have to face a team that plays zone frequently. There was that. I will say that the referees again did their thing. And I will say this: if Florida would have lost that game, I would not have blamed it on the refs. I don't blame games on losses. If you play well enough, I don't blame games on refs. If you play well enough, you can offset any damage that the refs do to you. So there's that. And I will also say a few things. Tyrese Samuel, I love you. Tyrese Samuel is someone that I've been very critical of for being a bad free throw shooter this season. He was at, I believe, 53% from the free throw line going into this game, and 9 for 9 from the free throw line tonight. Walter Clayton Jr., 15 of 16 from the free throw line tonight. Like, when you have two players combined for 24 of 25, damn. And then you also have Zion Pullen shot 8 for 8 from the free throw line. Just fantastic. Just a fantastic game for the most part from the Florida Gators. There were still some things that irritated me a little bit. Some of the turnovers pissed me off. Some moments where there were like these late rotations, but damn, this team, I don't, King believe, yes, you would have just like 90% of the fan base. I don't know if that is that referring to me saying that I don't blame games on refs? Because I don't. That's something I've never done, something I'm never gonna do. Don't care about what the outcome is. Outperform it. I don't blame Marco Wilson for the LSU loss, because if you wanted to offset that one play better the rest of the game. So stuff like that. But back to basketball. Walter Clayton Jr. had some questionable shots, I want to say. But this was just it was one of the best performances from the Florida Gators this season. I have to say that, or it's one of the games where I walked away going, that was a strong performance and one that I'm happy with and one that I'm proud of. But like that was a hell of a game, because it was also, again, you lost to Alabama the first time around in overtime on the road. And when it was here, you had no excuses really. It wasn't like, oh well, they're a really good team. No, this is, you're going into this game, you're the home team. You have to protect your home court. And on Friday, when we had Isaac Shade here from Locked On College Basketball and Locked On Tar Heels, we were talking about these three games, and Isaac was like, yeah, you win the South Carolina game, and if you drop Bama, you win the Vandy game. And rude. And I will say that also, this is one of the, I got so distracted by that. When we were talking about Isaac with that, I was like, I want the Bama game. I like lose South Carolina. I want the Bama game. I hate Bama basketball more than I hate Bama football. And I wanted this Bama game more than I've wanted a basketball game in a long time. Just that first game, the way that it went, the way that it broke down, the way that it ended, I wanted this game more than anything. And Florida, you got 19 from Tyrese Samuel, 19 from Zion Pullen, 22 from Walter Clayton Jr., 23 from Will Richard. This was a fantastic performance there. Also, Denzel Aberdeen made a couple of big plays there. He came in, he had the steal where he just then took it, I don't want to say coast to coast because it was like a backcourt steal. But he had the steal. He finished it off there. There were a few moments where these players have made big time plays, and it was just nothing short of impressive as hell. Alex Condon, when Alex Condon got he grabbed the rim on the Walter Clayton N1, when he grabbed the rim, I was so certain that Florida was going to blow that game. And I was like, this is going to be the turning point. Something stupid like this is going to be that's where it folded. That's where it all went down the drain. But Florida, I mean, you had, this game was the biggest game you could possibly have right now, and you won it in dominant fashion. I will also say, as someone who doesn't like Nate Oates, watching him lose his freaking mind on the side, get the tech, and the refs just go, yeah, we stand by the call, was hysterical to me, at least. And the commentators were just like, his football teammates are here and he's showing off his football skills. And it was hysterical to me, just watching his reaction. Obviously, the injury is horrible, but watching his reaction was funny as hell, I have to say. I will say also, like Micah Handlogden, it's baffling to me how he just completely disappears sometimes on offense. It's just, that's not even a critique that I'm giving. I'm just saying it's wild to me how someone can go so hot and cold, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. Not in terms of like, oh, he doesn't shoot well, just doesn't shoot in general. It's insane to me. It's again, like it's impressive because it's impressive to be that inconsistent. But yeah, that's a wild one. If you have anything that you want to say in the chat, get to that, and we will get to that in the second half of this show, and we'll talk wrapping up this season for the Florida Gators basketball team. But first, a quick word from a couple sponsors. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. It's $150 if your bet wins. So you could bet on your favorite NBA players. Jalen Suggs is another one that just decided not to shoot tonight. I need 7 points. 7. Just decided not to shoot. Just that wasn't part of his game tonight. Yeah, I'm salty. I hate him now. I don't hate him. I still love him. But still, I'm mad about that. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. Remember that FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Are you the kind of driver that likes to push things just a little further? You ever wonder what adventure could come right around the next corner? Our friends at Nissan have a lineup of SUVs with the capabilities to take your adventure to the next level. The 2024 Nissan Rogue is perfect for city drives and great escapes. And like I've said before, like I live in New York City. We like to go upstate every now and then. We go to Jersey every now and then. It's just saying. Comes in handy, right? Class exclusive Google built-in is your always updating assistant. So that's on call for almost anything that you need. You don't got to sit there and go, let me connect my phone and let me stop the car, put the car in park so that I can connect my phone because I can't connect it while I'm no, you don't got to worry about all that. That ain't no problem. That ain't no problem. That ain't no problem, baby. 2024 Rogue is the perfect mid-size crossover for your next adventure. Take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Shop NissanUSA.com. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, if you're not part of the subtext group, I highly recommend it. Locked On Gators Insiders. You get bonus information like basketball analytics sheets have been sending out. But just go to joinsubtext.com/LockedOnGators. The link is also in the description below if you prefer to go through that way and not have to type that much. But 2 weeks free, $5 a month after that. I think it's worth it. Just saying. And it's one of those things where when people are like, oh, like you have merch I could buy or whatever. No, but if you want to support the show, go do that and go get yourself some bonus content. We are going to hit the chat for this second half of this bonus show because, I mean, a lot of you are in here. By the way, I see someone in here named Mudkip Plays. Mudkip is the shiznit. Was my favorite starter in that gen of Pokemon. So I just want to say that I appreciate having Mudkip here. But yeah, we got Tony. We got can I get a hell yeah? I'll give you a hell yeah. Clay made money. Love it. Florida Gators money line is so free. I also took it early on in the game. I took it like 3 minutes into the game. When Will Richards shows up, this team Final Four bound, best offense in the league. Just a lot of inconsistencies. That's all I could say about this team. There's a lot of inconsistencies with this team, and it drives me crazy. For a team that's so senior and so experienced, it is incredible how inconsistent they can be and how they can't crack a zone there. Payback for the missed foul on Condon from the first game. Yep. He got hit in the chest. They reviewed it, and the announcer said, oh, yeah. That play was a weird one where Alex Condon was the one that got elbowed or like not even, but it was like forearmed in the back of the head in the first game. And then of course tonight there's a play where it looked like he kind of got elbowed in the chest area. And then he got called for a foul on it. And it was just one of those things where I'm just like, what the hell is wrong with these refs? Like I just don't. That's when I tweeted and I was just like, they're just absolute. I forgot even what I said. I think they said these clowns are absolute effing clowns. These refs are absolute effing clowns. Man, it was just so stupid. I hate them. That's it. I just hate refs. I hate refs. I hate most commentators. Like it's just horrible. The energy was high out the gate. Love it. Yeah, that was one thing where. The O-Dome is like always rocking, but something just felt different tonight from the players and the crowd perspective. It just felt different. Like it just felt like one of those games where it's like, oh, like this is going to be intense. And it was the entire game. Like even when Florida was up like 21 with 5 minutes left, Alabama was obviously playing hard as hell. But like Florida they weren't doing the usual Todd Golden things of like, yeah, let's just dribble out for a little bit and then we'll just take like they were just like, all right, let's get this play going, let's get to the basket and let's get some free throws out of this as well. And it was really refreshing to see that approach from this team. Like I said, I fully commend Todd Golden. This was a fantastic performance. Team showed up, they did their thing. I'm a big fan of what happened tonight. Brandon, you should have subbed in since it was senior night. Brother, how old do you think I am that I could play in a college senior night right now? Buddy, no, I'm not eligible to do that. They need to keep the same energy. I don't know if they will, Chadrick. Genuinely, because again, this is a very specific situation of home team, last home game of the year, senior night against Alabama, a team that you lost a close game to in overtime that you probably should have won on the road. Like there was a lot to this where I don't think you can replicate that intensity night in, night out. But I mean, when you get to the SEC tournament and NCAA tournament, you got to lock the you know what in and figure things out like that. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. I also thought we were going to sell after Condon held the room. Yeah. Yep. That would have, like I said, like the second that Condon grabbed the rim, I was like, son of a, it's over. It's cooked. It's cooked. Yeah. And then, of course, a bunch of people saying Micah offensively. Heat might lose to the Pistons. That'd be funny. If Castleton kept playing, we'd at least have somewhat consistent offensive center play. I know he's like 30. He's with the Lakers now. I'm pretty sure he's just hurt. If I'm not mistaken, I said that he was on the injury report the other day. Condon coming off the bench the next. Yeah, that's huge. Like having Condon come off the bench, he's a starter on the overwhelming majority of teams. But right now, he comes off the bench for Florida, and he's huge. Like it's just his physicality, his energy, his intensity. He's a baller. I love it. Chadrick, man, who you tell? Appreciate you. My favorite. Yeah, Mudkip's a sick one. I just want to say, Mudkip, you're a sick one. Heat need to close that out. This team's still young. If a team plays zone, that's going to be our downfall. And yeah, that's what it's going to happen. Like teams are gonna, if you play a full court trap, or if you play zone, you're gonna like if you go full court trap, then like 1-3-1 or just 1-3-1 in general. This team struggles against that, and when you play a team that is on their A game, because I'll say I don't think Alabama's on their A game tonight. I think Florida could have won either way. I don't care about that, but yeah, when you get into that tournament play and the margin of error is just so small. Man, you have to be able to figure things out. So thank you so much for joining this stream. Nice seeing some new faces, some familiar faces in here. Yeah. No, I know Bama didn't even play zone. Bama doesn't play zone. I think it was that they played zone like 3 possessions this entire year. So that was never going to be the thing. But like in SEC play and NCAA tournament play, you're going to see it at some point. Like South Carolina going into that matchup, South Carolina didn't play zone frequently, but they played a lot of it against Florida because it works. So it's just one of those things where you got to figure it out. You have to figure it out. Yeah, what's up, Mitch? Of course you can get a shout out. Of course. Hope you have a great one, Mitch. And yeah, like I said, like Mitch, Mudkip, Malik. Malik, I've seen you a bit. Mudkip, I don't think I've seen you before, but I do hope to see you again. Mitch, same for you. But Matt, thank you so much for tuning in and taking the time, and hopefully Florida Gators can continue some positive momentum. You got the Vanderbilt game to wrap up the year. You're on the road for that one. And then it's tournament play, baby. And then we're really into it. But thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day, we are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast. We'll be back tomorrow morning and Friday and Thursday because I skipped a day. That's how things work. But talk more Florida Gators football. For Locked On Gators, I'm Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find my written work with Giants Country and NFL 33. And as always, I'll see you all next time.